What makes a story timeless? Recently I felt like anime is evolving faster than ever. Every popular show is beautiful. It's gotten to the point where outstanding animation is an expectation, not something that differentiates good from great. It's everywhere: Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, and too many losing heroines? What? Yes, even slice of life shows are being given the same treatment. But beautiful animation propping up mediocre stories or enhancing great ones isn't something new. I think it's just gotten more common. And the quality isn't limited to animation. The stories have gotten good too. So will a masterpiece from almost 30 years ago still hold up in the same way? Princess Mononoke was released the same year I was born, 1997. And recently it was remastered, being shown in IMAX in 4K. It's one of my all-time favorite films, and I went and saw it again last week. And I was reminded just how much I love this story. Princess Mononoke is a timeless masterpiece, and I want to explain why. So welcome to a 3-part series called Exploring Mononoke. My name is Pei, and today we're talking about the first 2 parts of what make this such a special movie. Before you see a single frame of animation, or even introduced to a character, Princess Mononoke starts with a deep, rumbling timpani. This is actually a common technique. Lots of movies start with sound before anything else, because music has a remarkable way of eliciting a strong, immediate emotional response. It sets the tone right from the start. There are very few directors that I've seen use music to the same effect as Hayao Miyazaki, but obviously he isn't the one solely responsible. Miyazaki has had a long-running partnership with the composer Joe Hisaichi, a man who I'd argue is responsible for some of the best film scores of all time, a composer that's singular. His music both distinct and functional. Some people have asked me why, despite my history as a musician, I don't talk about music in anime more. YouTube has a strict copyright system involving sound, and it's hard talking about what makes music so great without being able to point towards the song you're talking about. So if you haven't heard Princess Mononoke's soundtrack before, take a second, go and listen to The Legend of Ashitaka or Princess Mononoke's theme. Good music in a story can enhance it so much. But scoring a film is a unique challenge because it's not just about making good music, it's about making great music that matches the pacing, animation, and tone, and doesn't outshine or detract from the story. It functions as a counterpart. The true purpose of a film score is not to exist in a vacuum. But occasionally scores come along that are so good not only in their original purpose, but also as a standalone product. I think Hisaichi's music falls into that category. Not only is it outstanding, it's incredibly hard to emulate. There's few composers that make music even comparable. Hisaichi pulls from so many different instruments, the obvious example from Mononoke being the use of taiko drums during suspense. For most of Hisaichi's composition, he relies heavily on orchestras, but there's a unique feel that he consistently brings to the table. But the music is more than just great, it fits the story perfectly. One of the cool things about art, and especially music, is the way it can immediately elicit an emotional response. I went through and recorded every moment of music in Princess Mononoke. Of the 2-hour and 14-minute runtime, 57 minutes and 12 seconds is music. The longest individual track isn't longer than 3.5 minutes. Music is used in this film as an emotional exclamation point. The music is introduced and pulled away before you even know it, weaving in and out of the story in a way that consistently enhances each scene, placed deliberately with purpose. Because something Miyazaki has demonstrated time and time again is how to work with a fantastic score. They enhance each other, both the story and music playing to make the other better. Miyazaki's stories are often focused on emotion. If you go listen to any of the songs in Princess Mononoke's soundtrack, you'll often find that they have huge emotional shifts in the middle of the song. Because Hisaichi's music is not only great, it fits perfectly, but music is not the only part of sound design. When I'm arguing Princess Mononoke has great sound, I mean all of it. Soft spoiler warning for people who haven't seen the movie yet. Foley is the art of recording sound effects. Not just the obvious ones, but kind of everything. Most of the sounds you think you're hearing in a movie or show are actually coming from a Foley artist. While Foley is a huge component of live action, you also have access to on-set sound. Everything you hear in an animated film is recorded and placed very deliberately. Anytime you hear anything, it's a conscious choice. And Princess Mononoke utilizes each one. A major rule I associate with Hayao Miyazaki is exaggeration. This is prevalent both in his animation and sound design. Exaggeration can be a tricky line to walk. You don't want to break people's immersion. But as a tool for expression, exaggerating certain moments can mean so much. Here, take these examples. The earth rumbles under the boar's weight. The water glugs as it's poured over Ashitaka's curse, boiling from the heat. Or an arrow fired by Ashitaka doesn't just fly, it screams through the air. This type of exaggeration is risky. Good sound design tends to go unnoticed, because pulling too much attention to what you're doing as a sound designer runs risk of breaking immersion. But that's the thing about Miyazaki, while it's exaggerated, it also often feels so grounded. Like that quote, where art is a lie that tells the truth. When Ashitaka's arrows do extreme things like decapitate a samurai with a single shot, it feels more justified given the exaggerated animation and sound design, and then that's grounded by the writing. Every time Ashitaka fights back, the hatred feeds the curse on his right arm, moving him one step closer to his death. There's consequence. That's why it's a curse, not a blessing. Well-placed sound design works with the writing and animation. It enhances the story, and it doesn't just come with exaggeration. Miyazaki's films use sound as texture. When transitioning from one scene to another, it's often placed with an extreme difference in sound. This scene is a perfect example. After being chased down by enemy samurai and killing one of them, the music comes to a crescendo before transitioning to a quiet brook in the woods. From one scene to another, loud to quiet. Or the exact inverse, from serene early morning light to pouring rain. If you watch this film after this video, pay attention to the way Miyazaki uses sound to transition between scenes. Dynamics are the difference between 2 points, not just loud or quiet. I made a video a while back talking about how silence can be an incredibly effective tool used by sound designers. But there's multiple types of silence in films. One that feels silent versus one that is. Most silent scenes in movies still have ambience, recorded room sounds, or low, dull sound effects. If you actually put no sound in a scene, it feels off. True silence is eerie. Even this scene, which is incredibly close to quiet, if you bump up the volume, still has slight effects. Miyazaki uses silence in all of its forms very effectively. But what about setting? Sound can be used to build the world and immerse the audience. A major theme in Princess Mononoke is the juxtaposition between technology and nature. Muskets built from iron taken from the sand. So as you're navigating Irontown, you hear the sound of the bellows and the hammers hitting iron. Nature at times is quiet, in others it's loud. In the finale of this movie, Miyazaki uses all of these components. Silence, sound effects, and music. Princess Mononoke is a special film for many reasons, and sound design is definitely one of them. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week.